There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that wealth is not only about money, it's about mindset. How to Build a Rich Mental Attitude invites us to look beyond material riches and discover the true foundation of abundance, the way we think, feel, and respond to life. The book teaches that every external success begins as an internal state, that the mind is the fertile soil in which all riches, financial, emotional, spiritual, are planted, nurtured, and grown. The author begins with a powerful truth: no one can build a rich life with a poor attitude. You cannot live in prosperity while thinking thoughts of lack, fear, or resentment. A rich mental attitude begins with gratitude, the recognition of what is already good in your life. Gratitude turns scarcity into abundance because it shifts your focus from what is missing to what is present. Think of the person who wakes up every day complaining about what they lack. They see only obstacles. Meanwhile, another person with far fewer resources may wake up thankful for the opportunity to begin again, and that attitude attracts ideas, people, and opportunities that eventually lead to success. The book reminds us that gratitude is not a passive emotion, it is an active power that opens the door to endless blessings. As the pages unfold, the author explores the idea that your mental attitude is your greatest currency. Life mirrors what you send out into it. When your thoughts are rich, filled with faith, vision, courage, and hope, the world responds with richness. But when your thoughts are poor, filled with fear, doubt, and self-pity, even opportunities can slip through your fingers. The author gives the example of two businesspeople who start from the same position. One constantly worries about failure, sees competition as a threat, and focuses on problems. The other sees every challenge as a teacher, every setback as a seed of something greater. Over time, their lives begin to diverge, not because of external luck, but because of internal attitude. The lesson is clear: our mental wealth creates our outer wealth. Another key message in the book is about the power of self-image. The author explains that the mind acts like a thermostat. It keeps us aligned with our own self-concept. If deep down you see yourself as small, undeserving, or limited, you will subconsciously act in ways that maintain that image. But if you see yourself as capable, worthy, and destined for growth, you will rise to match that vision. A rich mental attitude begins by reshaping how you see yourself. It's not arrogance, it's spiritual awareness, recognizing that you were not created to be average. You were designed to expand, to create, to shine. And when you dare to see yourself through the eyes of potential rather than limitation, you awaken the sleeping giant within. The book also dives deeply into the law of belief. Whatever you believe to be true about yourself and your world becomes your reality. The author beautifully explains that belief is the architect of destiny. People who succeed are not necessarily more talented, they simply believe more strongly in their ability to succeed. They believe in the possibility even when no evidence exists. The author shares a story of a man who started his life in poverty, doing small jobs and struggling to survive. But he held one belief so firmly that nothing could shake it: I am destined to rise. Every setback became fuel. Every failure became feedback. Years later, he became a respected entrepreneur, not because the world suddenly became easier, but because his belief never wavered. The book encourages readers to build that same unwavering inner conviction, a belief system that refuses to surrender to temporary defeat. A rich mental attitude also requires emotional discipline. The author warns that negative emotions, anger, envy, fear, and bitterness, are thieves of mental wealth. They rob us of peace and drain the energy needed to create. To think richly is to master one's emotions, not by suppressing them, but by understanding and transforming them. For instance, envy can become inspiration when you choose to learn rather than resent. Fear can become fuel when you face it with courage. Anger can become action when guided by wisdom. Every emotion carries potential. It is up to the mind to shape it into something empowering. The book emphasizes that true riches are born in adversity. Difficulties are not curses, they are sculptors that shape your inner strength. The author describes adversity as the gym of the mind. Without resistance, no growth is possible. Every person who has built something great, a business, an art, a legacy, has walked through moments of uncertainty, pain, and loss. But what separated them from those who gave up was not luck, it was attitude. When something goes wrong, the poor mind asks, "Why me?" The rich mind asks, "What can I learn?" That shift transforms suffering into wisdom. It turns defeat into direction. The author reflects on the importance of vision, the ability to see beyond the present. A rich mental attitude is built upon imagination, the capacity to picture a life of fulfillment even before it exists. Many people live reactively, waiting for proof before they believe. But the truly rich in spirit believe first and then create proof. Vision gives birth to motivation. When you can see the destination, the journey becomes meaningful. The book invites readers to create a mental image of their ideal life, not only in wealth, but in peace, relationships, contribution, and joy, and to nurture that image daily until it becomes a living reality. An essential lesson woven throughout the book is the habit of positive expectation. Expectation is the quiet language of faith. What you expect, you attract. When you wake up expecting problems, you prepare your mind to find them. When you wake up expecting blessings, your mind becomes alert to opportunities. This doesn't mean denying difficulties, it means training your focus. The author beautifully states, "The sun is always shining, even when clouds appear. Expect the light, and you will see it." A rich mental attitude is not blind optimism, it's spiritual confidence that life is working for you, not against you. The book also touches on the role of generosity and service. A rich mind gives, not because it has everything, but because it knows that giving multiplies abundance. The poor mind clings tightly, afraid of losing. But the rich mind understands that everything flows in cycles, what you give returns multiplied. Whether it's kindness, encouragement, or resources, giving is the surest way to expand one's wealth. The author shares a story of a woman who had little money but abundant compassion. She helped people with small acts, listening, guiding, caring. Over time, she built a circle of trust and goodwill that later became the foundation of a successful business. Her story teaches that giving is not a loss, it's an investment in spiritual capital. The final chapters remind us that building a rich mental attitude is a lifelong journey. It's not a destination to reach once, but a state to cultivate daily. There will be moments of doubt, times when old fears try to return, and days when progress feels invisible. But the author urges readers to persist, to feed the mind daily with thoughts of gratitude, faith, purpose, and love. Just as a garden must be tended to keep weeds away, so too must the mind be nurtured with positivity and reflection. Each day you choose to think richly, you strengthen the roots of your inner wealth. The ultimate message of the book is profoundly simple yet deeply transformative. You become what you think about most of the time. If your thoughts are filled with limitation, your life will shrink to match them. If your thoughts are filled with growth, purpose, and gratitude, your life will expand in ways you never imagined. The richest people are not those who have the most possessions, but those who carry peace within, love without limits, and faith in the unseen. To build a rich mental attitude is to reclaim your power, the power to choose your thoughts, to shape your emotions, and to direct your destiny. It is to understand that life is not something happening to you, it is something happening through you. Every idea, every emotion, every reaction is a brushstroke painting the canvas of your future. When your inner world becomes abundant, the outer world cannot help but follow. And perhaps the most beautiful lesson the author leaves us with is this: richness is not what you hold in your hands, it's what you hold in your heart. A truly rich person radiates peace, uplifts others, and walks with quiet confidence, knowing that they are part of something greater than themselves. When you cultivate that inner wealth, you never fear loss, because you understand that abundance is not a possession, it's a state of being. So, as you close this book and return to your own journey, carry this message with you: every thought you think is a seed. Plant wisely. Nurture the thoughts of gratitude, courage, faith, and love, and your life will blossom into a garden of unshakable richness, not just in money, but in meaning, joy, and purpose. The wealthiest life is not the one that collects things, but the one that builds character, uplifts others, and never stops growing from within. That is what it means to build a rich mental attitude.